Loving this tight room here. Isn't this nice, Rich? All right, good morning.
Good morning.
David?
Well, I tried to give you a non-COVID question yesterday, but I learned my lesson to start it off. So anyone else on the COVID list or anyone coming off?
No, nothing new to report. So.
And how did Lyle Collins come out of yesterday?
Lyle practiced well yesterday. I was pleased. I'm curious to see how he feels today. Just with us being in virtual, I haven't seen any of the players, yet in person. But I like the work that LC put on film yesterday.
Is there a bigger challenge today with LC because you're in pads and it's more live-ish than yesterday? Or?
Well, it's the next step. Clearly, just coming off of, the rehab and the things he's been working on of late, this is definitely the next step to padded work. So, we're looking forward to a good day today.
I'm sorry. Just to be clear, Zach Martin ruled out, or is there a chance he could play?
I would say he's as close to being out as you can probably possibly roll out. There's a protocol, so we'll follow the protocol up to the game, and anything changes, we'll.
So he will make the trip, or y'all will?
Well, he has to. He has to test negative twice. So that's to me the last threshold you got to get over.
How long will you be virtual? All the way until you leave for Tampa?
The goal was to be out of the virtual after today. That's the goal. We just wanted to make sure that we, just tried to tighten it up as best we can. And yesterday was a clean day that we were looking for, and anticipating the same today. And hopefully we get back to normal tomorrow.
He would have to test negative twice before even getting on the plane to go to Tampa. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
When you get a text or a call from Jim, are you just looking at it and say, what's next, what now? Or do you kind of dread that moment?
I think one thing you learn as a head coach in this league is when the director of security calls you and when the trainer calls you, based on what time of day, you have a pretty good idea what it is. So when Jim texts me extremely early, that means he's texting me to tell me that my test was negative. That's usually what it goes. But when it comes at different hours, that's, you kind of, most of the time it's not probably what you're looking to hear.
It's usually, even those are usually early in the morning, right? Because they're getting them from the day before.
Well, the night before. Now, Jim's on top of it. He'll usually just send it the night before. So, yeah.
How does this compare, what you guys are dealing with now, how does it compare to where you were kind of at this time last year?
Frankly, this is a conversation we had this morning, just on some protocols and how to move forward. It's it's not a whole lot different as far as the outlook. You got to recognize that we're still in a pandemic. So, but just staying in touch with the league. Jim Maurer does a tremendous job for us. He's on Zoom. He's on calls all the time. So this is something that goes on, almost on a daily basis. So we just stay in touch with everything, and and Jerry's and the family's done a great job giving us the resources to keep our workplace as tight and as clean as possible.
Has there been resumed conversation with the team about not letting your guard down when you're home on your way? I know a number of guys have gone to college games over the weekend or whatever else it is.
Definitely. I think one thing about it, we are in year 2, so I think we understand where the risks are and the hot spots, and to me it's like a lot of things we do in our professional and in our personal life. You're assessing risk and just being in tune with where you are, who you're with, and just trying to be as safe as possible.
We asked yesterday about Bronco. What kind of challenges Mike Evans on the outside for them?
Mike Evans and really their whole perimeter. I'm very impressed with the whole perimeter of the Bucs. I think it's definitely it gives you challenges throughout. But Mike is a big physical receiver, excellent catch and radius, and obviously we're going through some of the different situations this morning, looking at the targets and so forth. And I think just if you just see the target breakdown, it speaks for itself as far as where the ball's being distributed, and too much coffee, distributed. And so the fact that when you watch Mike, particularly in his cut up, you'll see him being doubled a lot. So I think that shows what point I'm making is what other teams have done to him and so forth. So, but they're able to distribute the ball to the other players. So, but he's definitely a focal point.
Who simulates him for you guys?
We didn't really have, just because we're kind of short with the receiver right now, so we've been rolling a couple guys through there. but Mitchell probably for the most part.
Because of the
Yeah.
height and
Yeah, body type wise, yeah.
Have you accomplished what you wanted to, getting acclimated to the heat?
Definitely. I mean, I think just the way we practiced the last, we've had three in a row out there. So, and also I know the players did some work out there in the two practices before the break of camp. So yeah, I feel definitely I thought yesterday was a great day because the humidity was really humid, and so yeah, I think we're good to go there.
I know there's a tendency maybe like you have an opener, you have all this time that you over prepare or you overdo everything. Do you kind of have to guard against that?
Not this year. I think just with all the we've had a lot of moving parts throughout training camp. So I think our guys have done a great job of adjusting on the move and hitting the daily targets. Going into a different format yesterday. I thought our guys did a great job. We did the virtual. They got in here. We got everything done that we wanted to get done, but the quality was good. We're getting better is what you're looking for going into the game. So, we're starting to establish that rhythm and timing that you want to take into the contest. So today's a huge day. This is our heaviest workload of the whole preparation for Tampa. So today's a big practice for us.
I guess anybody that's made it to the NFL has played in a bunch of loud, noisy stadiums, but is there any concern or preparation for reacclimating to a full house, given that you didn't play in front of them last year?
I think we've illustrated that. We've been working crowd noise now for over a month. So we've been working it, 3 team periods, of all of our Tampa prep. So we're preparing for a loud stadium.
You invested so much capital on the defensive side of the ball in the offseason, and you've seen a lot of strides in camp in the offseason, but is there still an anticipation of, is this thing going to be potentially as good as what I think it is, and let's see this get underway?
I think this is football. I think this is a yearly focus. I know it is for me as a head coach. You're always waiting for the certain thresholds or what you're looking for the team to come together. It's a standard you're always chasing because you want it to be as good as it possibly can, and then once you get there, that's the hardest part, is staying in that groove, in that rhythm, in that space. That's what you're always chasing, and I think the fact that with defense, with all the new players, obviously the new staff, I think the new staff has done a great job connecting with the players. But it's not to be redundant, we cannot have enough time together, so all the way through our football team. So this is why we continue to find as many different ways to do it, healthy and virtual and whatever the extra work is needed, because we're still chasing that final preparation phase here to make sure we're ready to go Thursday night.
You said that the new staff has done a great job connecting with the players. Yesterday you talked about how Dan kind of helps pull people together. What's an example of how he's done that during training camp?
Well, I just think during training camp, it's just all the little things, all the non-hard knocks things that you didn't see. I think it starts with personality, giving players and coaches ownership within your process of how you teach in the meetings, how things worked out in post meetings. So, if you see the open conversation, and it's, Kellen's doing the same thing on offense. I think Kellen's done an outstanding job in year 2. You can see that, the staff is now definitely on the same page, and the interaction with the players. So I think as a football team, you see a lot more. That's really a strength of John Fossil's. I think John does a tremendous job of interaction and in his meeting structure and how he coaches his guys. So I think as a team, it's a focus of ours, and it's all part of the growth that we want to continue to build on.
What is your confidence level in your defense, more about going back to a scheme that some of these guys are familiar with, and obviously what Dan Quinn brings to the table?
My confidence is what I see every day, and I see a bunch that's connecting, coming together. I think just the fact that if you just take something as simple as the missed assignments versus the mental errors breakdown, our defense has been ahead of our offense. So, and I think a big part of that is they are able to practice almost daily. With the same guys rolling in and out. I think one of the challenges the offense has had, we've had guys miss practice throughout training camp. So the ability to have, the first 11, 12, 13 guys practice each and every day is not been as high on offense as it's been on defense. But, so that's why today is an important day.
What have you learned about Jalen just during your time with Jalen? Maybe not necessarily just last year, but this offseason with the new group of guys, his response to all of that?
What I've really enjoyed about Jalen is really from, I think it's like anything, you arrive on a job and there's, you have a pre-meeting and everybody gives you a rundown on the current players, and then obviously then you build your own opinions based off your own interaction. Jalen has been extremely consistent in my time here. He's very diligent. He's the same guy every day. He practices every day. He plays in every game. So I think the most accurate description I can give of you, he's been extremely consistent in my time here. I really appreciate the way he goes about it.
I know none of it's easy, but what's easier or better for an offensive lineman, that comes back normally? Is it pass blocking or the run game? Does the run game take a little longer just because there's more moving parts to that?
I think there's obviously more. I mean, there's obviously technique both in the run blocking and the pass protecting. I think that, I think the ability to lose in pass protection is obviously more damaging to the offense than run blocking. I think that's always been recognized in line play. So I would say pass blocking, and that's why if you just look at the way we practice, and just like anything, where's your ROI, where's your return on investment, where are you spending your time? Pass protection may take a little more, but run blocking is not very far behind too, because it's pad level and your footwork, the timing, the spacing, and how the combination blocks come together. So much of it is timing. I could go back to what I talked about earlier. You can't give us enough practices right now. That's just kind of where we are, and that's and I think that's product of of today's game. So you have less time with your players, particularly in the padded work. So we're all trying to get it the way we want it to look, and and padded work is a big part of that, especially in line play.
Is that the other side of that? You're talking about the pass blocking, but to get that physical edge you need in the run game, you don't really practice in pads enough early to be there. It kind of takes a little time.
Well, you got to remember the standard or the meters that I look for, are a little jaded because I've been around for a few years. So, but I think the way you practice is so important, because you're really trying to get the timing down, with your front guys, not only in the footwork and the pad level and in how the combinations come to block, but how it's tied into the course of the back too, and then also how do you handle the contain element? What's going on in the C gap? Then you got the perimeter throws that come off of that. So it's just these are things that you really only get with reps.
Amari and Marcus have been back now on the field for the past couple weeks or so. Do you see a trickle-down effect from a teammate development standpoint, where they see, like, if fellow wide receivers see how Amari works, and see how the Marcus works, and that helps with their own development because of the example in the room on the field?
Well, I think like anything, when your best player's on the field, it only makes you better, in the top to bottom. So, obviously, the first thing I always look for is the competitiveness of the environment. That's why you want all your top players practices as much, not only with each other but against each other. And I think it really starts at the quarterback position in the O-line. The O-line and the quarterback have a tremendous amount of responsibility, because the practice usually goes the way their performance. Then the D-line is obviously the thermostat over there, because everything starts at the line of scrimmage. So I think now with just D-Law and Amari in particular, absolutely. You bring them back into each one of their rooms. Not only their position room, but the offensive defense. I mean, they're prime time players that we're definitely counting on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.